Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Horror News Radio, the official gruesome magazine podcast. And back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-hosts on the net. Joining me tonight is Dave Dreyer, lead news writer at Gruesome Magazine. Dave, how are you doing, sir?
I was spinning for a minute. Did you guys see me spin?
Did you spin?
No,
I didn't see
I was
you
spinning.
spin.
It was awesome. I was in a vortex of horror.
Oh my.
Are you on drugs?
I'm not entirely certain where to take that, but that's
Just
awesome.
say no, Dave. Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no. Also joining us this week is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore.
I'm just drinking this water.
Agua.
Oh my God, I'm even more confused now.
I know. We're trying to make you as confused as possible.
You know, I would say that was dry humor, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Also joining, dad joke. We got a dad joke here.
It's
All right.
nice.
Also
Yeah.
joining us is Living Dead Girl, Crystal Cleveland. How you doing? Nice to see you.
I'm good.
Is that your pumpkin? Did you do that?
Yeah, I did. I carved him.
awesome.
I carved him actually last year. So
It's
Is it
lovely.
one of those plastic ones that
Thank
you can
you.
carve?
yeah, one of those.
I don't know. If it wasn't, it'd just be like all black.
I know.
The regular pumpkin would be just as solid.
So because I actually try to carve them nice, I usually so I carve actual pumpkins, but I usually just do some simple designs in that. I don't want to waste my time on something that's just going to die. So I always carve like one of these a year too, that I do something better.
Nice.
It looks very
Nice.
awesome.
I always end up watching my pumpkin like deflate after a few weeks, and then
Yeah.
it
That's sad.
smells and there's flies, and I like gotta get a shovel to get it in the trash. Anyway,
You can't throw it away before it gets to that point. I'm just saying, you can. It's totally acceptable.
I have a reputation of
He just likes to watch things die.
being very lazy, and that I have to do. All right, we are here for horror news of the week for the week of September 20th, 2021. That is the night we are recording it. So this is the news from Tuesday before to Monday today. And we've got 5 items we want to discuss. We're going to take the horror news that was out there and kind of give it a look over and determine what about it is interesting, what we care, why do we care about it, and what does it mean, and all that goodness. It's a discussion about the news. So that's what we're here for. You guys ready to do this?
Sure.
Everybody listening is really into what you just said. That's awesome. All right. Let's start off with The Lost Boys heading to WB. This is a reboot. The cast is going to include from A Quiet Place, Noah Jupe, and from It, Jaeden Martell. Originally, this was going to be a series on the CW, but the pilot is a no-go. So Warner Brothers is kicking the dust again about remaking Lost Boys, directed by Jonathan Entwistle and written by Randy McKinnon. This is one of those films. Now, we've had a couple of sequels along the way, some official, some weird Frog Brother ones. Is this story, this classic story, ready to be remade today? What do you think? What do you think, Crystal?
No, okay, I love The Lost Boys, right? Like, it's one of my favorite 80s vampire movies. I don't mind them making another Lost Boys or going off of maybe these are Michael's kids or whatever. I don't really care. I don't know where they went with Michael, though, actually. I didn't see all of the remakes, but it's so good on its own. I think there's so many other horror movies that could really use some remaking. And it's not this one.
Not
like
this
when they,
one.
Like when they remade Fright Night, why? Christopher Sarandon? No. Mm-mm.
I would give Fright Night the remake a little bit of thumbs up because it did something different. But I understand where you're coming from. I know. We don't have to agree on everything, Crystal. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Calm down. Put the knife away. Put the knife down. Christopher,
cleavers.
yes, cleavers. That I'm shaking in my boots. Christopher, is this going to be a Lego sequel? You think? Or are they going to just remake the damn thing?
I mean, I would be more okay with a Lego sequel as long as it connects to the original. I think trying to fully reboot it, I don't think you're going to be able to recapture the soul of the original. I mean, there's like it really about everything comes together in that film. You know, everything from the cast to the music
Oh yeah.
to the look of it to the the sweaty old down saxophone guy. I mean,
Yes.
there's like so many
awesome.
elements that work really well. I actually got to go to a horror thing that was in LA many years ago when I went to Monsterpalooza, and they had these art installations, and one of the art installations was Lost Boys, and they had the bridge that the people were hanging down from, and you can hang from it, and they had a huge like Chinese food container with the worms and stuff.
It's just
They had
noodles, Michael.
there's just I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's like they really sort of captured that specific time period, and this is like, this was like the cool vampires, and that were still kind of evil, and they even sparkled a little bit when they got in, but in a better way. Before they started making vampires good, I guess. And it has a good amount of humor in it. I don't know. It's really hard to recapture that. And I think I would have been more interested in if they sort of did a legacy sequel where we maybe continue with some of the characters. I know that some of the actors have died since then, so it's kind of hard to get some of the original people. But yeah, this just, I don't know. My thing right now is like, if you've seen anything like the Craft remake or even the I Know What You Did Last Summer, a lot of these things, all they do is just they do a new version and they make it all splashy and young adult and they just seem the same thing. It's like it's like generic brands of everything, to where there's no kind of I mean, you
soul.
literally loses the soul to it in the same way that you kind of lose yourself if you become a vampire. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in that. Now, the people they cast, it seems very vanilla. It doesn't really seem.
They look like
anything.
babies. I feel like what a turnoff.
I don't know. I don't. I mean, there's the production design, the look of the characters. There's like so much that went into that original, and it's. I don't know what they can do with this. I mean, I think the only way they could do it is to continue it from the original. I'd be more okay with it, but if it's a totally new remake, I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. It's not gonna fly for me. I don't want to be totally against remakes because we have things like The Thing and The Fly. Some of these films that work. Candyman. So this sounds like a really bad idea because I think it's just all you're gonna do is like, man, the original was so much better. Let's go watch that instead. So
I think nowadays they have a hard time capturing that grunginess. That good grunginess of like, they were kind of grungy before the 90s. So
yeah, they were on the cusp of what grunge would be. Well, Dave, of course, is waiting for
Dave.
The sexy sax man coming back, right? Yeah, right.
Yes, of course. Yeah, this one's going deep in my don't give a shit file. So
deep you don't give a shit file.
I guarantee you. I mean, this is a remake just to tailor to the younger audience. We're gonna get cell phones, or there'll be lots of popping up on the screens and shit like that. They're just gonna try to reach, so it's a little more accurate to the times. But yeah, not really caring about this one much at all.
Is Blumhouse involved? Because I would be totally on board. I don't know what to think.
WB.
Yeah, I know it's WB. I don't know what to think about this. I'm not against it. You know me. I'm all for it. I'm remake everything, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, I'm interested to see it.
Need to find out more, and of course, we'll talk about it as it gets released. All right, next up is a trailer finally got released. We finally got some idea about what Nightmare Alley is going to be about. This is, of course, based on the 1946 noir novel by William Lindsay. It's a little bit, on that side of the horror, the dark, gritty, detective-y kind of carnival-y thing going on. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro and written by him and Kim Morgan. So something. There's going to be elements of fantasy in this that is going to attract us horror people. It may not be strictly horror, but I bet it will be. I bet it will be. The cast includes Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, which I love, William Dafoe, excuse me, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Ron Perlman, of course, and David Strathairn. I've got to kind of pass this immediately off to Christopher G. Moore, who, of course, is a huge Guillermo del Toro fan. And what was your immediate impression of this trailer?
Well, I mean, you can tell it's a Guillermo del Toro film, and you know, there's some really beautiful production design in this, and you could definitely tell his sort of. I mean, I did read an interview with him recently. I think he might be worried they might be marketing this in the same way they marketed Crimson Peak, where people thought Crimson Peak was going to be more of a haunted house story, and it was more of a gothic romance, and this one is more of like, you know, almost like a noir type story, because his two favorite things are horror and like film noir. And I think the way that trailer markets it, there's even a part where William Dafoe is like monsters, and so I think people are going to go into this thinking there's monster. Although it does involve a freak show, so you know that Guillermo del Toro loves his freaks.
Yes, me too.
So I think there'll still be that element of it, but I think this is going to delve more into sort of like dark noir. And may have a little bit of, I mean, I love that sort of when he finds that big head that opens up and he goes down this, like one of those spinning tunnel things, and there's like all these eyes and stuff. The production design of this is amazing. So I'm sure we'll see some like really, maybe some freakish looking people that are the freaks. Because back then they used to have these people that would make like people that are on drugs, that they would have them eat, like bite the heads off of chickens and do all these different things. And people are like, oh, it's the freak of this. And it was just mainly people who were just down and out and needed, you know, a family or a home or something. So, but yeah, I mean, the visuals in this look really amazing. It's got an amazing cast across the board. I'm already in love with it, and I haven't even seen it. So, I mean, I love it. To me, Guillermo del Toro has never made a bad film. So I'm definitely excited about it. But I think it might be one of those things where people might have expectations for it that might not be in it and might be disappointed by that. But for me, I'm all in.
All in. Dave, I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you liked Shape of Water, of course.
Yeah, and this has the same look. I mean, I agree with Christopher. This looks amazing. It looks beautiful. I don't know what we're going to get story-wise, but, you know, for me, some of the Toro stuff's been a little disjointed, but, you know, that's a personal preference thing. There is no denying this film looks beautiful. I mean, it looks fantastic. I don't know if you guys noticed there at the end when he's running down the alley and the smoke comes in, like a face forms behind him. I like stopped it and played it over like 3 or 4 different times. I mean, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of those little, like really cool video nuance things that, you know, are going to take our breath away, quite frankly. We'll have to see, you know, story wise, if it holds up. Christopher may be 100% right. It may not hit the horror audience, but people who love great filmmaking, I think, are going to love this.
Well, the time it's being released indicates it's more about that. But of course, Guillermo del Toro won the Oscar for Shape of Water, so yep. he's in that category now. Crystal, you know, I don't know if you and I have talked about Guillermo del Toro.
Have we? I don't know, but I love him. Okay. I love him, like, because even his boring romance movies I enjoy. That stuff I would never watch, like Shape of Water, but they're so beautiful. Crimson Peak, it's it's one of those movies that I think the stories are fabulous. And Pan's Labyrinth is one of my favorites, you know. But I think you're freaky and I like you a lot. I mean, he's so weird, and I just dig him so much because everything is always a little off, and I love that. I think this. I don't know. I think it might hit all the little buttons for me. I really love circuses, and I love this sort of like whole vibe that is going on here. And it's still got that like tonally drab, or I don't know.
Washed out kind of.
Yeah, but it's not washed out. It's very vivid. It's such an, you know, it's obvious when you look at some of his stuff. You're like, oh, yep, there he is. Like he's such a horror lover too, and I mean, I love that he is. Everything has elements of horror in it. It just may not be, slashers or whatever,
Or monsters, even though they're talking about. Yeah, for me, I don't care if this really dives deep into horror.
Looks beautiful.
It's going to have that fantasy element to it just because of the visuals, and it's already evident in the trailer, and I'm on board for that. It doesn't have to go much deeper. I'm still going to love it as a genre film in our genre, even if it's fringe on the fringe. I'm all for it. We will talk about it here on Gruesome Magazine. All right, up next, we got what is called the final trailer for Halloween Kills. This is the Blumhouse film, the sequel to Halloween that came out in 2028. It's Haddonfield versus The Shape. Laurie Strode is gathering the troops. We are looking forward to this. Of course, we talked about this on our last episode, where it is going to debut not only in theaters but on Peacock on October 15th. So, Dave Dreher.
Yes,
You are a Mike Myers fan, right? Or Michael Myers.
I am. This would be true.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this trailer? What do you think? Are you 15th going to be awesome?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it. I'm still not sold on the need for it to continue, but it's continuing regardless. So we might as well attempt to enjoy it. But I think it looks good. They seem to be focusing on some of the iconic imagery. I don't know if the story, again, kind of it's a little bit of a theme. I don't know if the story's going to hold up. We'll have to wait and see where they go with it. This one looks a little violent. I hope they don't Rob Zombie it and make it into a, violent, a violent, profanity laden thing. I don't think they'll go there. I kind of like the whole thing of getting the team from the original back together. That's kind of fun. I like that first shot with is her name Lindsay, the girl from the first one? It's Lindsay, isn't it? She was a little girl, but now when they're standing there at swing set.
Yes.
Yeah. And she turns around and he's standing there by the car. That just looks great. As a Michael Myers fan, you're like, yes. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. I really am. I really am glad I don't have to march to a theater to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing it on Peacock in the privacy of my own home. I think it does. I've heard a lot of the bitching online saying it shows too much of the movie. The problem with that is we don't know if it does or not because none of us have seen the movie, so we don't know what they're showing us actually. Yeah. So that's kind of a ridiculous claim because none of us actually know where it's heading.
I know. Well, they said the same claim on the when the first trailer came out as well, but they debunked that early.
I mean, what did they give away? They give away the fact that Michael Myers is alive and he's still hunting Laurie Strode. That's really all we know.
That's what you need to know, right? Well, let's jump on the fact about the many of the original cast coming back, or at least cast characters. Some are getting recast, others are getting the same character or the same actress or actor playing them. Crystal, when we watched the trailer as a group here just before the show, you commented on that, so I want you to elaborate on what do you think about that aspect of this.
I think this is super fun. Like, I really like this concept that he's going after the ones that got away. I mean, of course he would. He's Michael Myers. He's going to clean up his loose ends there. So what's interesting about these more recent films is these are, other than the third Halloween, which a lot of people hate, these are my favorite Halloween movies so far. I mean, I know we only had the one technically, but I've really loved the head popping. I don't know. I've just enjoyed these for some reason. I don't know if it's just Jamie Lee Curtis back, and I just think she's awesome, and I think even just she plays such a strong character, and then I always forget her name. That won't. From
Judy
Archer.
Greer?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love her so much. I don't know. I'm really enjoying these. So I'm not, contrary, even though I'm wearing Friday the 13th, I'm not a huge boring slasher type movie. I like my Freddy, like my talking, but I don't know. I've really been enjoying these. I think I'm going to really like this one too. I'm glad I get to watch it in the privacy of my own home too, because when I laughed at the other one, people got mad at me.
People got mad at you.
Yeah.
Well,
When the head popping happened, I laughed. And then someone in the theater was like, no one needs to be laughing about that. And I'm like, oh, because it's real life. I forgot.
I
It's
forgot.
real life.
What happened, Crystal? What happened? Christopher. We talked just a couple of articles ago about remakes. Halloween remake was, of course, one that I remember you actually enjoying. We all did, I believe. Now we're getting a sequel to the remake, and yes, Jamie
Well,
Lee
it's
Curtis
more of a
is-
Lego sequel than a remake.
Yeah.
It is. It
Mhm.
is a Lego
Fair.
sequel. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis as a badass grandma is awesome.
Awesome.
But let us know what you think about the Lego sequelness of this.
Well, and I've spoken about this before, and I'm sure people may see this as sacrilege, but I love the new movie more than the original.
See? Yay!
Even the
I'm not
cartoon?
being,
I
that's
hate
what
to
I
say
just
that.
said. I just said that.
I see the
I'm with you.
I see how iconic the original is, but I've never really been a big fan of the original. I mean, I'm more of a Freddy person or even a Jason person, but the Michael Myers films I've enjoyed. Okay, but I don't know, something about just the mixture of horror and humor kind of works for me. You know, that original one, that the little kid who's being babysit. It's like, I'm not going up there. I mean, there's like a lot of funny elements, and I think some of the kills are very cool too. And I don't know, I just like the visual style of it as well. I mean, this trailer's got some really cool. That you got this one scene where it's from the point of view of somebody falling, and you see
Great.
their hands
Very
in front of
Hitchcock.
them.
Yeah.
There's just like some really, really cool moments. And those people, I saw somebody today posted on Facebook like, oh, well, I don't need to see it because I've seen all of it in the trailers. And I was like, I've heard that the kill count is huge in this film. And if you see all those groups of people going after him, I'm kind of wondering how many people he might kill. So again, don't be fooled by the trailers. They may show you certain things that make you go into it like, oh, I think I know how it's going to play out, but it may not play out the way you expect. But yeah, I love David Gordon. I think David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. I know Danny McBride's one of the writers, but I think they really sort of injected enough visual and story and dialogue flair into it that makes me more interested in how this new story plays out. Plus, I just love kick-ass Laurie Strode, like Terminator 2 Laurie Strode, where she's just crazy. And again, I really hope that this trilogy ends with her being the new Michael Myers. I just want to see a Laurie Strode wearing a mask by the end of it. Maybe,
she does. She's walking around with a knife in this one in the trailer.
Well, I'm just saying, this is the way that I feel like this is gonna. It's
Step
better
one.
end with her being in a hospital and wearing like a mask by the end of it. Maybe she pulls some, maybe like one of those blue alien women from a Star Trek mask or something.
Spocky or something. She's awesome. I'm looking forward to this, of course, and I'm not going to say much, but I grew up at a time when the original Halloween was it. Dave, you might back me on that. I could watch the original Halloween over and over again. I'll just leave that hanging there. Interesting, the first three articles were kind of geared toward each of us, and by golly, the fourth was geared to me. This is a found footage film from Blumhouse. I couldn't get any more in my wheelhouse if it tried. Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin. Of course, we talked about it coming to Paramount Plus. We didn't know when, but they announced it was going straight there. Well, this week we get the trailer. We get the logo in the top right there. Where's the top left? I'm so confused. It's coming. We also got the date on October 29th, Paramount Plus, not in the theaters. It's directed by William Eubank. Of course, he did the underwater film a year or so back, and well, at least I'll speak for myself. I loved that film. Thought it was excellent. And of course, Christopher Landon is back writing the scripts, and he has become a terrific director. In the meantime, between the sixth film and this, of course, he directed the I guess the fifth film of the series, the one that wasn't in the chronological of it. It was, oh gosh, what was it? It doesn't matter. Let's keep on this one. I am so looking forward to this, and the trailer has me hyped. I like the new direction. I even though it has a couple staples of the found footage, the night vision camera with the girls sliding across the floor. I'm all for that. That's exactly what I want to see. So I think they're appealing to that. I have a feeling that's problem. I don't get the impression we're going to have that all the time. That's just a selling point. Hey, remember this because there's a lot of cool stuff that's come. I guess I need to pass this on to the rest of you because I am most definitely going to be watching this. So Christopher, we talked about this and I was surprised with your reaction because you like elements of this trailer. Is that right? Did I hear you correctly?
Well, it's not repetitive. I feel a little bit of sarcasm in that. It's dripping onto the floor and pools. Well, it's not. It doesn't feel repetitive, other than like, oh, I'm getting pulled into the out of frame. But I love the aspect of taking them outside of these houses and going somewhere. And this feels like almost like a mixture of Blair Witch a little bit. I call it kind of Amish-geddon, where you have these creepy Amish people. So I like that aspect of it. Of there's a lot of mysterious things about it. Like there's a hole, it's like some kind of well, what leads to that. So there seems to be much more than just some poltergeist activity or somebody doing a Ouija board and things go awry. So I love that aspect of it. And of course it's directed by the same guy who directed Underwater. Oh. And you know how much we loved Underwater.
Yes, absolutely.
So and he shoots really good action. So I'm really. This is the first time I've been excited for a Paranormal Activity film in
forever.
Ever.
Yeah,
it's the first. So I think I felt like the other ones we're just regurgitating the same thing over and over. It's the same vomitous stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Although they try to do different stuff, but this feels like a different thing, and that's what I love it when you take the concept and you put it in a different arena to sort of let things play out, and it's more of a mysterious thing, like, oh, what's causing this, and why are these creepy Amish people around my car? So I'm actually kind of excited about it. It looks kind of I know it's like a horror version of Witness. So
no. Oh my God.
Where's Harrison Ford when you need him?
Dave, oh man, Dave, he's flying a plane, not landing well, but he's flying well. Dave, sir. Dave, are you with me? Are you with the found footage of this? Because I don't know if your history with this.
And I watched this trailer very, very quickly, so I was taking it not so much that they were like an Amish family or something. I thought it was like back in olden times. I thought something was happening like back in the 1800s that was affecting what was happening now. But I watched it very, very quickly. I didn't spend a lot of time with it. So, but I am intrigued by it. It looks good. And again, I love the fact it's on Paramount Plus. I don't have to go anywhere except into my movie viewing room to watch it.
Movie viewing room.
I like it. I like it a lot.
You like it a lot. There was a time when this was an annual event. It was, Saul had owned that for a number of years, and then when Saul stopped, this filled that gap. And I like that when we had a horror movie every October. Well, and of course it was Paranormal Activity, so I was happy. Even if it's streaming, I want to see it again. Crystal, what was that? Oh no! What about you? Are you on board with this, or
you know how I feel about Paranormal Activity? It's garbage. But I'll tell you this, okay? So I stopped it. I think it was like 3 because literally I laughed the whole way through at the movie theater. I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And I don't understand. I don't get it. Like at a point, it's all just the same dribble in a different package or a different name. And I was just, but I will say, I do like found footage, which is kind of, I know a lot of people don't, but I'm with you with the found footage. And I'd be willing to see it.
If you make
I just feel like, okay, so maybe when you mentioned the whole thing, like, oh, they come out every year, at a point they just start mass producing movies and not really taking care with the movies. It's just more about getting people in the theater and getting people in the seat and getting people's money. And I don't think that they're particularly good movies. And I think that a lot of other filmmakers, Christopher, could use that money and make something way better. I'm just saying.
Oh, nice.
You know,
you could do a Paranormal Activity. You would do that. You would make a Paranormal Activity.
I just think that or just
Give you
anything,
money,
you know. Yeah.
I'll make a Snorks movie if you give me money.
Oh, wow. Yeah, of course,
that would be
the original.
fun.
The original came out in 2007, but I think it actually hit theaters like a couple of years later, like 2009. But the Paranormal Activity Ghost Dimension came out in 2015. So it's been 6 years since we've talked about Paranormal Activity.
Holy moly. So I did like the first one. I mean, because it was so unique. It was a unique.
Yep.
And, you know, when she's standing there and she's just like, so I was like, oh, that's cool. And then second one, third one, I was like,
yeah,
okay.
we're just more about. They were more about the sound design more than anything, and I mean that works to a certain degree. But then you're just doing the same bit over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll all find out on October 29th, right? What is it? What channel is this going to be?
Paramount Plus.
Paramount
Plus.
Paramount Plus. I gotta figure out if I actually have that. I'm pretty sure I do. All right. Up next is okay. So we should mention before we go into this that we all love Shudder very much, and Shudder has brought Joe Bob Briggs back to the fold, and we have been enjoying his presence for the past few years. And Christopher, you and I got to meet him down in South Carolina for one of the
I've met him a few times.
film festivals, right?
Crimson
You've met him a
Screen.
couple times.
He got a picture with my creature from Knobgoblins, and he was like, "What the hell is this?"
I love it. Well, he lives in Texas, so yeah, he was at a lot of. I got to go to I got to go to his most recent screening of like Sleepaway Camp there, when they did it at the theater there, and then he goes to the cons too.
Yeah, I saw him at Scares That Scare one year, and he did his little Rednecks in Hollywood bit thing, which is really interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's a really in-depth analysis. He goes through the history of rednecks and movies and stuff. So
he's so knowledgeable.
He is. But the news article, unfortunately, is not about Joe Bob. I was essentially trying
Huge
to
segue
into Elvira is now returning to Shudder with the 40th anniversary. Very scary, very special. This looks great, right? This looks great. Let's take a look at the card, shall we? Shudder meets Elvira. Enough said. That's what I put it as. Part of 61 Days of Halloween. If you're not aware, Shudder is so cool. They do 2 months of Halloween. They don't start in October. They start in September, and we love that. She is returning with 4 films. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. That seems like a no-brainer. I feel that's wonderful. The House on Haunted Hill, the original, with Vincent Price. The City of the Dead with Christopher Lee, and Messiah of Evil, a very, very trippy, strange 1970s film. If you don't know what it's about, check out our review on the 70s, 8 Decades of Horror 70s podcast, because you probably won't believe that movie actually got made. Crystal, I would imagine you are a huge fan of Elvira.
Oh my god, I'm so excited! I just can't believe this took this long.
It seems like it should have happened like at the same time, right?
Same time, yeah. Because it seems like in my mind, Joe Bob and Elvira were like of the same yolk, like same. I don't know if were they on at the same time or around. It just feels like they should be together.
She predated him, right?
yeah,
Okay.
she's before, but I mean, her personality was around the same time as him. So
I just love her. I think she is so fabulous. And I mean, obviously, when I would see things with her as a kid, I was always like, oh, I want to be her. Like any horror-loving child wanted to be Elvira.
did you whisper that?
Yeah. I want to be her. Hey, can I tell you a secret? Cut your skin off and wear it.
No.
Okay.
Honey.
I think that was the demon talking to you that said that.
Dave, what do you think about this movie selection? Is she doing the right 4 films?
Yeah, I think this sounds great. I mean, you can't have a 40th anniversary special till the 40th anniversry. So I say the timing is perfect, considering it's the 40th anniversary.
Well, that's not exactly what I was asking, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah, Joe Bob. I mean, Shudder, when it first came out, nobody really knew if it was going to stick because we'd had Chiller and FearNet and all these others. And it's great that Shudder stuck, so it's time for Elvira to be on it. I think the time has come for sure. And hopefully this is the start of, just like with Joe Bob, we get like what?
Yeah.
8 episode season, and a couple specials throughout the year, and let's make it happen. I mean, she still looks great. She's still witty as ever. I've been to a couple conventions she's been at, and I mean, she still draws them in like nobody.
She's fabulous too. She's fabulous at these conventions. She's really warm with the fans. Yeah. House on
$5 makes it worth even more.
Yeah, there you go. House on Haunted Hill from 1959. That's a natural for this, right?
Yeah, absolutely classy. Has she ever done that before? I know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, she's probably covered a lot of different.
I haven't seen Messiah of Evil, so that's going to be new for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that's weird?
Yep. I recommend it. You're not going to believe it. All right, Christopher, final word on this. What is your thoughts on this 40th anniversary special?
Well, I think, first we all have to realize that Shudder is still a small fish in the streaming world. So they only have so much money. So I'm thinking maybe they finally got to a level where they could afford Elvira.
That might be, that might be true.
Yeah, because I mean,
they already have the films. But...
Well, I mean, if you hear, I mean, I've heard stories about like their creep show series. They're very limited in budget. They have to shoot them within a certain day or two, so that's why they're not like as high quality as what you'd want a lot of times. And some of their stuff that they create for their channel, that's why they do a better job of acquiring stuff. But yeah, I think it's one of those things, just waiting for that right time, because I think that's one of the main things people talked about when Joe Bob got his start and ended up freezing everybody's streaming service because everybody was trying to watch it, and they realized, oh crap, we hit gold, like the hillbillies, the Beverly Hillbillies.
They hit oil, but that's all right. Keep going.
Black gold.
Texas tea. I was just thinking of the song. Thank you, Crystal, for saving me. Otherwise, I look like an idiot. But yeah, it's. I mean, she's perfect for this, and it allows them to sort of put other titles that people will watch on here. And it's one of those things. It's a no-brainer that we probably think this is. I mean, like everybody was thinking, when is Elvira going to come on here? And I think even she was being asked about it when the Joe Bob thing happened. So I think it's probably something that's been in the works for a while. But also, I'm sure they had to work out some kind of money issue or something, because she's a little bit more of a known property, I guess, than Joe Bob would be. But I'm glad they got it, because I think that this is totally, helping their brand, Shudder being the place for horror. And they've got so many amazing titles. When you look at things like Netflix, they're just all about churning out newer stuff and not having older stuff. This has a good mixture of that. Mixture of indie, big budget, older, classic, cheesy stuff, even, a little bit of even some short films. So having that's just going to help their brand even more, to making sure that they are known as the streaming brand for horror. So I'm excited, because I've been waiting for this for a while.
Yep.
Because I've enjoyed the Joe Bob stuff, and I even have his little figure they made. So yeah, I can't wait to see what she brings to this channel.
Yeah, Crystal, of course, we've been reviewing, and Dave, you as well, so many of the Shudder films on the Gruesome Magazine podcast over the past few years. I mean, they literally put something out every week, and
I love Shudder. Like
so much good stuff. Right. So look for Elvira's 4th anniversary special on September 25th, 2021. It's coming out. So that's the earliest of our items. Lost Boys, of course, is news. We don't know much about that just yet. Nightmare Alley is coming out on December 17th. How you like that? December 17th. October 15th for Halloween Kills. Paranormal Activity is October 29th. guys, thank you for joining me. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Doc.
A lot of cool stuff on the
A
horizon.
lot of cool stuff. All right, if you are enjoying
almost
this,
Halloween.
I know it's October already.
It's
How's that
already
happen?
Halloween.
And I'm already seeing Christmas stuff and getting sad.
excited.
If you are enjoying our horror news of the week and the discussion we have about the the news that is in front of us, we thank you for joining us, and we hope you're enjoying this and all the reviews and other topics that we talk about on the channel. Check them out. If you want to help us out, hit the subscribe button or the like button or share with a friend. It all helps. And of course, what are your comments? We'd love to hear them. And we have been getting some feedback from the first 2 episodes, returning back to horror news of the week. And we want to thank you all very much for that. Let's say good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.